No, bro. It just feels like we won. It just feels like as a family, as a fan base, it just feels like we won something. It feels like a Super Bowl, but the only thing that could diminish this is a losing season.
You're now listening to D&D live on demand. This is a Breaking Command special edition. You're listening to another episode of Breaking Command, a D&D football podcast. This is such a surprise podcast that I had to hook up the iPad in Jamaica. I am using this hotel Wi-Fi. I'm hoping that it stays connected as we go for the next 15, 20 minutes. Of course, my partner in crime, as always, my man Dee Middy. Dee Middy, what's good, bro?
I'm feeling good, feeling great, brother. How are you doing, bro?
Man, no complaints, bro. Let's just get to it. We don't want to we don't want to we know why we're here. The commander sale is good to go. D Middy, you just alluded to it a couple moments ago, man. Give us the whole feelings, man. Just give us the whole vibe of how everything went down for you in this process, bro.
I'm gonna encapsulate it as best as I can. The moment that Dan said he has linked with Bank of America Securities to sell the team, I knew at that moment the cloud started to diminish a little bit. And at the moment that the suspects came out, is it Bezos, is it Harris, is it this one, is it that one? Okay, cool. Now we know the players in the game. To find out that Harris put together a team that was worthy of being not only owners in the NFL, but viable citizens, he put together a team of people that are respectable, and I knew something was in the making. And to see the news break, listening to my family on Twitter, my Commanders family on Twitter, bro, we won. We won.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the 54th, man. I'll tell you real quick, D Middy. I was sitting by the pool, okay? And I got a text from you. So we recording today or what? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about?
I completely forgot that my bro told me he's vacationing this week. Like, he don't text me and tell me like his happenings and how this thing is working. I didn't even care. Like, the only thing on my mind was this is an emergency pod alert, bro.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I told you, I said, let me go see if I can make something happen. Got the iPad set up. And then I started seeing all the tweets. So, the first tweet I see is from Adam Schefter, 3:16 our time. I'm in Jamaica, so it's an hour behind East Coast time. Washington
Right.
Commanders and partnership led by Josh Harris have entered into a purchase and sale agreement. It was jointly announced today. So, when Adam Schefter tweeted, it's there.
Done deal.
It's done.
Done deal.
Josh Harrison may already have the keys if Adam Schefter tweeted it. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely, man. But I have to ask you this. You asked me, so let me ask you another question. Do you feel as if the ownership group that's in place, the main suspects because I think it's maybe 10 to 11 people a part of the group, knowing that Josh Harris, who has championship teams or winning teams, and Magic Johnson, who is of a championship ilk or cloth, how does this make you feel knowing that?
It feels as though we now have a competent ownership group that has some history behind themselves. Now, granted, like we say this all the time with every podcast and with every sport, there's only be one winner per year, right? But in the business of sports, when your business is ran well, you have a successful year even when you're not winning, right? Because at the end of the year, there's 31 other franchises that are set. But there are also a lot of franchises who still have goodwill going forward into the offseason, still turn a profit, still make money every year, who still have an excited fan base. You look at fan bases like the Buffalo Bills, right, who have
Right.
never won it, and they've always been a hope for tomorrow. Every year, they have the same vibrance and the same hope and the same faith. And not necessarily saying that comes from ownership, but it just comes from having a good brand, a good business where your people still want to come back and support you with the hopes that you're going to be better. And I think for a long time, this franchise didn't have that. This franchise was downtrodden. We were beat up. We were always in the news for something other than football. And it feels like now with the new ownership, And the words of my man Bruce Pritchard, a fresh paint of coat. You know what I'm saying? They can now take that next step to kind of rebuild the
exactly.
goodwill with the fan base, with the alumni, and kind of still give us that hope that we have a winning ownership group in place that can help foster that.
And the crazy thing about that is, just like you were saying about the Buffalo Bills in comparison to Washington, what we've been through. Washington not only has went through Dan Snyder, we went through Vinny Cerrato, Bruce Allen, a brief stint of Scott McCloughan and whatever that debris or dust up was at the time when he came. But you have an organization now that has went through those things and have fans who haven't even seen the actual winning season outside of 2012 that are elated, that are just ready to see an actual great product on the field and off the field. Because thanks to Ron Rivera and crew, they started that with the off the field and taking away from looking at it from the upstairs part. Pay attention to what's going on the field, and we're going to bring in some character guys. And I love what he's done in that sense. You know, and I love what Jason Wright has done on the marketing front as far as helping out with the social media team, bringing in Julie Donaldson and so on and so forth. But all that to say, the writing was on the wall, the steps have been taken, and the next step now is a winning season. We have to get past 8 wins this season.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Some more with Jason Wright. I got an email today from Jason Wright. You know, when you become a season ticket holder, they just treat you like you weren't there. I'm like,
yeah. I love it. I love. I can't wait to be a part of that club.
You coming soon, bro. It's happening. It's already happening. This from Jason Wright earlier today. Dear Darian, if you didn't know, that's my real name. Dear Darian, I would like to share an important update with you regarding recent developments in the ownership of the Washington Commanders. Today, Dan and Tanya Snyder agreed to a full sale of the Washington Commanders to Josh Harris and his impressive group of partners. Listen to that word, a full sale. That talk about partial ownership and keeping something, no, full sale. Okay. Our organization and ownership office are working with the league and the Harris team to promptly complete the transaction. Promptly. They're trying to move it forward right now to get everything in place before this season starts. I'll go on to the next paragraph. As you know, this franchise has been an indispensable part of the community for many decades now. Our 90 years of burgundy and gold football have spawned generations of loyal and passionate fans. So much so, this is not in the piece, so much so that they break their vacation to set up an iPad and record about it. So much so that they sit in the car after work to talk about the team. Okay, dedicated.
Dedication.
Let me continue on. He says, Josh Harris shares your passion and commitment to winning championships and building the organization's work to make a positive and measurable impact in the lives of the most in need in the region. I am confident that their extensive professional experience and unwavering drive will have immediate and long-lasting effects on the Commanders organization in our communities. Awesome. He finishes up with this paragraph here. I would like to thank all of you for your tremendous support you have provided to our organization, and I look forward to continuing to work with you and Josh Harris and his team to ensure that our team and our region keep winning together. Sincerely, Jason Wright, president of the Washington Commanders. Awesome.
Do you think that email was printed out the week he did the CNBC interview? But I say that, man, jokingly. But I feel as though, once again, the steps have been taken, and when you have an organization that is so revered around sports, regardless of the fans of other teams and other sports that be like, oh, they have a sense of respect in that underlining undertone that they have for Washington, knowing that this team is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, has fans that have been around for decades and have not sold their gear, that have been season ticket holders, that have just stayed the course. And we are deserving so of a new era. And here's the new era.
Absolutely. Irvin Magic Johnson tweeted earlier, I could not be more excited to be a partner in the proposed new ownership group for the Washington Commanders. Josh Harris has assembled an amazing group who share a commitment not only to doing great things on the field, but making a real impact in the DMV community. I'm so excited to get to work on executing our vision with the Commanders and the loyal fan base from Urban Magic Johnson. Longtime Laker,
Long time.
now first time Commanders part owner. Dee Middy, it's exciting, man. It's very exciting.
It's a good moment in football. Ricky Minicamp starting, and I had some sense of a feeling that it was going to happen around this time. I was hoping before the draft, because for my reasoning for before the draft was to set an expectation that not only are we bringing in new players on the field, a new coach on the field, for me as a fan, that it's a new culture upstairs as well. However, that's fine. That's okay. I knew the sale was in the workings. I knew that Josh Harris and Mitchell Rose and Magic Johnson was putting together a team of people because with this is the organization. And when you think about that word in the definition of organization, there's many moving parts. So of course, some of these people like Magic Johnson, they're not just going to be minority owners and just kind of being financiers or what have you. They're going to be over marketing, real estate when it comes to this team needing new digs as far as training facility, new stadium coming soon in 4 years. So all of that to say, they put together a very nice team.
Speaking of team, I found the actual list, and it's from CBSSports.com. And they mentioned the other individuals that are a part of the ownership group. And here, just to name a few, aside from Mitch, David, and Magic Johnson, the leadership group includes local business leader Mark Ein, Lee Ansley, I don't know, Eric Holloman, Michael Lee, owner of the Range Group, the Morgan family owner of the Morgan family, the owners of Morgan Properties, the Santo Domingo family, Michael Sapir, co-founder of and CEO of ProShares, Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO and executive chair and executive chair Andy Snyder, amongst others. That name kind of got me, making sure there ain't nobody cousin enough. But that's a common name.
I seen that when Nikki Giovanni I tweeted that. I said, Full Sail.
Hey, hey, that's a common name out there. But no, but to your point, man, you look at what Ron Rivera and management have done, assembling a team on the field. You look at what the ownership group has done, assembling a team upstairs to bring some business acumen, to bring some strong candidates to the ownership room, and frankly, to give guys a chance to get in on one of the hottest commodities and one of the hottest properties in business, and that's owning a sports franchise, and not necessarily just a sports, an NFL franchise. You have to understand, Dee Middy, in the world, owning a NFL franchise is like gold. I mean, these guys own, NBA teams, hockey teams, baseball teams, MLS teams, Premier League, and different world teams like that. But to own an NFL team that just went for $6 billion,
the biggest sale in sports,
$6.05 billion. And I mean, you look at it just from a business perspective, right? Josh Harris gave other guys a chance to get in on this. That's less cost from him up front. And then, he's still the lead candidate, still the lead guy. I had 100 on it, but, he was saying we good, we didn't need it. So my little tenth of a percent.
I think we all put up some 401k money that we thought would be able to help. But you know what? I guess they were like, hold on to that pension money. Right. Hold on to that.
but I mean, you look at it, man. They definitely didn't pass around the collection plate by this team. I mean, they got bread, they got successful business. I mean, you look at the former CEO of Google. I mean, you got real estate property guys.
It's something else too, man. Mitchell Rose, if you look at his background and Jason Wright's background, they are similar. So to me, that marriage in a sense, or that coupling into a sense, makes perfect business sense moving forward. That Jason Wright may just not be only just a placeholder during the brand change. He could be, into the future as well.
Dee Middy, that's good that you mentioned that, because I know and just to update everybody, the Commanders have officially pretty much off the market now. The ownership group has been confirmed. It's been tweeted that they're going to sell. I mean, they are waiting for a final vote from the franchises, but looks like everything is good to go. And we had to jump on the record briefly to talk about that. But to your point, people have been talking about Jason Wright for a few and saying that Jason Wright, was just a guy sent from the league to kind of help change the image and all that. Jason
Right.
has earned some great goodwill with the fans. He's very visible. He's very approachable. I mean, he likes tweets. He'll tweet right at you. He'll take pictures. You look
Absolutely.
at the recent draft event. He was there dancing with people. Like, I mean,
Exactly. Love it.
he's just the guy, man. And he's shown. And I mean, you can kind of see the goodwill that he's helped rebuild with the fan base that was gone. Even with all the promotions and the marketing and really, I get emails every day from the Commanders. Hey, we're having this event here. Sign up for this. And I know some of those events are because season ticket holder, but when you
Right.
have the app, like the news, like there's always something going on, and the
Oh,
social media
absolutely.
team is dope. Like they're always doing something to try to bring the fan base together, and I like that Jason Wright has kind of took the leadership on that. He has great business acumen, not only a football player, but he's very smart. He has a good football brain, a good business brain.
Right.
And I think him being at the forefront of the Commanders has really been a good look for him and around the league. And you look at it, we talked about this on previous podcasts before, how the Commanders have one of the most diverse front office staffs and coaching staffs anybody. It's a lot of guys that look
Exactly.
like you and me. I mean, if you look too closely,
Exactly.
they might think you're Eric Bieniemy and I'm Martin Mayhew. If they just look, if they look closely, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you. And I love that about the team, man. I think that's one of the best things, not only of an ethnicity standpoint, but from a brain trust standpoint, that you have gentlemen and women of the same thought process. Because Julie Donaldson, as you said with Jason Wright, she's been a part of a lot of media things. She's been around the building. She's familiar with the culture of DC. So she's not only tapped in to the organization, she tapped into, as what some would say, the streets.
Yeah.
So so she's able to touch those that fan base. And another thing that happened this week that I think is a small nugget, but in my heart of hearts is a big nugget, as a guy who, as you can see, loves to do media. Shout out to Chick Hernandez, Logan Paulson, and Brian Mitchell for
Yeah.
becoming the call
Preseason
team,
team.
the
Yeah.
preseason team for the Commanders. I love that team, man, because Chick Hernandez has come into the Commander spaces, and been just a listener or a speaker. Brian Mitchell, man, is a good dude. Always welcomes me when I call into the to the radio show. Logan Paulson, very knowledgeable former player. Then you also got guys like Fred Smoot who are still around. Tim Hightower, a former player who's over the alumni association. You still got guys Santana Moss who's still in the building, who are still revered as Washington legends, and they're able to tap into the fan base while this new ownership group, is still there. So they have guys. I say all that to say they have guys on the floor on the floor at face value that they can reach out to. So Magic Johnson, if you're listening, those are your team of guys you need to reach out to if you want help with what's going on in Commanders world.
And one thing you mentioned about Magic Johnson, he's had very successful businesses. He's a likable person. I think Magic Johnson's gonna go over real well with the fan base. Especially
Real
with the fan
well.
base because half the fan base ain't Wizards fans anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
think he's
text my
definitely gonna
mom.
go.
My mom is a diehard Magic Johnson Lakers fan, right? Diehard Lakers fan. I said, Mom, so since Magic owner now, you want to come over? She's a Cowboys fan. Keep that in mind too, guys. Her exact response was "he double hockey sticks." No, immediately. That is her
Even Magic
loyalty
couldn't
to
bring
the
her over.
Cowboys. Magic can't bring her over. She's a diehard Cowboys and Lakers fan. But that was funny though, man. But I said, I kind of tied that into the Magic Johnson thing, man, because people are gonna love him, man. People are gonna be able to, gravitate to him because this man owns Starbucks, movie theaters. He's somebody who wants to be a part of a community.
Help the
That's how
Dodgers
that's
win a
this.
title.
Come on, man. I mean, the Sparks. So he knows what it is to be a part of organization that can build something to win. And with Josh Harris, his New Jersey Devils are right now, as I'm in the city of Raleigh, I'm sitting across from the stadium where his team is playing in the second round of the playoffs. So, I mean,
you look at it like this, Dee Middy. Like, I know we expect. I feel like everything is coming full circle at the same time. I think we talked about this in previous episodes and episodes that will be coming. But I think we have a great team. We have a good roster that's prepared to win, that's trained to go, and I feel like Ron Rivera has done a great job with fixing everything downstairs. You know,
yes,
if you ever watch any of the Commanders shows and they talk and you see the behind the scenes stuff, every
I
time the
love
players
it.
go in, they go downstairs, right? So that's downstairs with the equipment room, locker room, weight room, all that stuff. Downstairs has been resolved. They got a great roster, a great group of guys, great
Absolutely.
talented guys that are very smart
Talented.
football players. Now the key is getting everything correct upstairs. They've done so with the general management, the administrative staff. They've done that. It was just one figurehead in place that they had to move, and even with that, he wasn't in the mix too much as of late.
No,
But it
no.
was just the idea that he was still there. I feel like them now moving forward with additional management, it'll be
With,
uh,
without his influence
yeah,
in the building.
absolutely. I feel like now just moving forward, man, the fans are ready to get back in the building. And just like clockwork, man, my ticket rep sent out tweets. She was like, this is a better time than ever to go ahead and get your tickets because
I'm
they're gonna
telling
be
you.
gone, man. They're gonna be gone.
Look, man. Once we get off this call, I'm going to the house and I'm going to speak to the wife. I think it's time for us to make an investment.
Yes, sir.
I think it's time for
Yes,
us to make that
sir.
investment. But at the same token, man, I got a question to ask you. Without that
Sure.
influence of Dan Snyder and fans like me who not necessarily have waited for this moment, but made it more intriguing for this moment to happen. And do you feel like not only is it an effect we've kind of touched on a little bit. Is it not only an effect for off the field? Is it an effect on the field as well? Do you feel like that the team would get more respect from other coaches and general managers and players without having that influence of Snyder in the building?
So I think as much as I would like to believe that Snyder had an impact on what happened on the field, I don't think so. However, around the league, I do think the perception of the Commanders may change as far as to how we're covered and as far as how we talked about. Because you've seen it. I mean,
Absolutely.
people won't admit it, but there has been some media bias with how we've been covered over the past
Oh
couple of
yeah.
years, and then sometimes rightfully so, right?
Sure.
But I think now you kind of get the slate washed clean, man, and maybe we'll just get judged for what we do on the field. Maybe we'll just get judged, just for wins and losses. I can take those
Absolutely.
types of criticism. I can take a bad, a bad coaching decision, but I don't want to have to hear about our owner doing different things and just not being a good guy. Now we can just
Jumping.
talk about
Yeah.
X's and O's. You know what I mean?
And that he's not the one like influencing. Like I've even heard in certain sports where the owner is like in on timeouts. Like the owner and the GM is like, okay, this how many timeouts you can use in the first half type of influence, and even to the point of like influencing like other coaches and things like that if they want to come coach for the team because Sean Payton said something a while ago before the draft about that the ownership groups reached out to him as far as things like that. And I want that type of media to stop as far as, the bad perception and leaks that's coming out because at the same token, they have changed the way that they have, broadcast this team. Like if you look at NFL Network before, you didn't see any burgundy and gold when they did like uh the uniform commercials about
Mm-hmm.
league play 360 and stuff like that. You didn't see any burgundy and gold. Now you see burgundy and gold everywhere. Now it's starting to ramp up as far as the coverage. So I think the sale has changed a lot as far as the perception of the team.
It feels like, as our good buddy JP said, we are actually at the goal line now, officially.
Yes, yes,
And now we just got to punch it in. We're
there
right
you
there.
go.
We gotten over the hump. It's just quarterback dive over the top, man. Just quarterback sneak it. Like let's just
That's it.
punch it in. Let's go home. And I think that's where we are now, D Mitty. I think the sale is in its final stages. It'll be completed, and I feel like within a month, before training camp opens up, Well, training camp will end in July, but I think somewhere around June, man, this thing should be said and done and completed, and you'll get an overhaul. We'll start seeing new different things. We'll start seeing new stories come out about buildings, about possible DC back in the mix to being a stadium site. Like,
yes, take it back to RFK, baby.
man, it's a new day, bro. Like, I mean, it
It's a
is.
new day.
Like,
Yes,
it is,
sir,
man. And
man.
I'm excited.
I
I'm
love
excited,
it.
man. I'm excited. And I say this, man, and we're getting ready to close, man. But I say this: great things always happen when I'm on vacation, bro. Every time. Look, last year when I went to Costa Rica, I booked the cartoon that's currently in production, that I'm working on, that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That's great. That was the last time I've been out of the country. I came out here to Jamaica, and the Commanders finally sold. Now, granted, it probably would have happened today if I was sitting at home. But because I've been out of the country, it's just going to give me an excuse to keep going out of the country, because
There you
things
go.
good always happen.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Put some more stamps on that passport, my boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dee Middy, you got anything before we get out of here, man?
Man, I just want to say thank you, brother, for everything you do. I appreciate you, man, as a friend, as a brother. You know, it's all love, and just I thank you to the subscribers. Continue to like, subscribe, comment. Also, one thing, man, I was talking to my father last night. It dawned on me as I said that he gave me an idea that me and you we need to chop it up about. So subscribers, friends, and family, when you comment, it's going to be a part of the show going forward. I'm gonna take this to the board.
All right, that's what's up, man. D Middy, I love it, man. Appreciate you, brother. It wouldn't be the D&D football podcast without the D&D. You know what I'm saying? So we here, man, and I'm just glad, man, we could link up to record this right now, because it's very important to the fan base. People are actually looking for what we have to say, so it's a great option to be able to have us to come to us. And of course, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We ask that you
Absolutely.
continue to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. And if you feel so inclined, you can leave us a 5-star review, and you can get your 5 seconds of fame. That's
Please
it.
do.
That's all. D Middy, DH. We will catch y'all on the next episode of Breaking Command, a D&D football podcast. You got to subscribe, because you don't know when you're going to get another episode until the regular season. So you
Hey,
just got to
you never
subscribe.
know.
It's going to be a lot of content coming down the pipe. I will be at training camp. Excuse me, not training camp. I'll be at mini camp and OTAs in a couple weeks. I will have some exclusive content for you guys. So make sure you
Yes,
tune in
sir.
and continue to be a part of the team. Of course, for my man D Middy, it's DH. And we thank you for tuning in to Breaking Command, a D&D football podcast. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace.